Joining us now is Tony Montalto. He's the president of Stand with Parkland. Tony's daughter, Gina Montalto, was killed during the Parkland school shooting. Tony, I thank you for being with us, but I hate that you have to be, and I hate that we have to talk about these things in a context that probably gives you a lot of pain. I have to ask you, when the rest of us who have not lost children to school violence cover stories like this, it breaks our hearts. Can you tell us what you're thinking now?
Well, first of all, thank you for having us on. It's devastating to our families when we see reports like this. It brings us right back to that day. And I'd like to just start out by saying that we're all send our hearts go out to the families and the community as a whole, because this doesn't just affect the one family. It affects the entire community and all the students that were in that school. And we, more than most, understand the pain and the trauma that will continue to shake that community.
And I think it really affects all people, right? Everybody with a kid, every kid in America. Kamala Harris was telling us a story we know to be true because we hear it from parents all the time. And that is, this is front of mind for a lot of students. Kids who go to school have a different experience than we did when we went to school. They think about active shooter drills. They think about what they will do in case there's a shooting. They hear a noise and they worry that that might be a shooting. It has got to be affecting our children's minds.
Well, I'm sure it is, and that's one reason why Stand with Parkland was formed, to try and address the issue of school safety in a more inclusive and holistic way. We focus on three main items. One, securing the campus. Two, better mental health screening and support programs. And finally, three, responsible firearms ownership. All three of these issues clearly failed the families here in Parkland, and unfortunately today, the families in Santa Clarita.
Santa Clarita, much like your community, is considered a very, very safe area. So for you, recovering, when you were putting your life back together, you didn't think of yourself living in a dangerous community. When you see this happen again in a safe community, what does that tell you about the environment we're living in?
Well, we need to realize that this type of tragedy can happen anywhere. Targeted school violence is not just a problem for certain areas. It's a problem for all Americans. And we must all come together as an American family to help solve the issue. As a matter of fact, just yesterday, two of the other fathers, Ryan Petty and Max Schachter and myself, were on a tour with the U.S. Secret Service. They've just rolled out their report that came out a week ago, addressing protecting America's schools, and an analysis of 41 incidents ranging in the years of 2008 to 2017. And one thing that every community in that report had, the one thing in common, was a shared belief that it couldn't happen to them.
Yep. Yeah. And
we're here to say that it happened to us. Please learn from our experience.
Stephanie, I've covered, Tony and Stephanie have covered 4 or 5 of these school shootings, and that you're never in a place where you say, oh, this is obvious. There would have been a shooting here. Tony, you talk about a few things that, when you say we should all come together, far be it for me to want to contradict you, but I feel like we all are together. The country overwhelmingly supports universal background checks and getting rid of loopholes where people can buy guns without background checks at gun shows or through people who are not dealers, and extreme risk protection orders, which are known more commonly as red flag laws. We are all together on this, so what's the problem?
Well, the problem has to be that we need leadership in Congress, in both houses, and we need leadership from our president to find ways to make our students and teachers safe at school.
The report, you said the overwhelming takeaway was that no community, no school ever thinks it will happen to them. What other findings stood out to you that that immediate action should be taken upon?
Well, first of all, we need to realize that any first responder response is, has to be the best it can be. But the only way to really stop the next school shooting is to proactively prevent it. We need proactive action. And that is where the new Secret Service report comes out and points to a path that will make our students and teachers safer. And that is by having behavioral threat assessments and follow-up management of the people who need help. This is a process where we're not designed to incarcerate people. It's not designed to punish people. It's designed to identify the students that need help and get them the help they need before we have a tragic attack, as we had here in Parkland or as we were seeing today in Santa Clarita.